Welcome to Healers Talk Healing, the podcast where we gather to explore the art and science of holistic healing, uncovering the secrets to a happier, healthier you. I'm your host, Nina Ganguly, and together we will delve into the intriguing world of holistic healing, delving into the mind-body connection, ancient wisdom, and natural remedies. Get ready for enlightening stories, thought-provoking expert interviews, and practical tips that will empower you to unlock your true potential and embrace a vibrant, balanced life. Whether you're an experienced wellness enthusiast or simply curious about the power of healing, join us on this exhilarating journey as we share the wisdom and insights that can truly transform your life. It's time to embark on a voyage towards a happier, healthier you. So, without further ado, let's dive into the captivating world of Healers Talk Healing. Well, we're back again, and we're always starting in mid-sentence, but that's fine. That's fine. We could be recording all day long, and then you could, our listeners and viewers could sneak in to our conversations, but we want to keep it a little professional, right? Maybe?
Yes.
Perhaps?
Yes. A little professional. And we also want to make sure that it's interesting for everyone and that we're sharing information that people would like to hear.
Right.
So I was mentioning the fact that I was speaking with my sister over the weekend, and we actually started thinking about what's on so many people's minds in terms of the state of the world. And not just in the United States with our administration, but with many, many countries and the upheaval. Let's say there's like a tear that has happened. And so we're speaking here, we're speaking about all of this. And then I started asking the question, well, energetically, what's happening? What's really, really, really happening? And what I had an opportunity to see and come to the conclusion of is that the world, this planet Earth, as well as our solar system, our galaxy, our universe, and multiple universes, as I was really looking at this in a very overarching way, is completely shifting and changing because we are moving through I call it historical timeline from one period to the next. For example, there was the prehistoric period. Then there was the Adamic period, and then we moved into a mammalian period or something. I'm trying to remember from school what all the different periods were. But we are literally living in a period of historic change from one on the line, historical line, from one into another. So it's as if we're moving through a portal.
Right.
Everything, everyone, everybody's moving through a portal. And in this way, the Mother Earth, Gaia, is shifting and changing and transitioning herself. She's, kind of shimmying and shaking with the earthquakes. She's going through emotional explosions with the fires. She's going through different hiccups and sometimes throwing up with the volcanoes. There's all of these things that are happening. And what that does is obviously have an effect on us as human beings, as emotional beings. We started talking about the fact that mankind has not been very kind to the planet, to the creatures on the planet, to the natural, even living energetic aspects of plants and trees and all of that. We have not been respectful. And in that shift, obviously, I say Mother Earth says, okay, children, There's a point where we have to make some major changes. So we're seeing really a physical manifestation with everything that's going on right now, based on where our mindsets have been,
Mm.
based on how our emotions have erupted really over time, and based on how we just continue to think that, particularly in the United States, I can't speak for the rest of the world,
Mhm.
the consciousness of it's all about me. It has nothing to do with the reflection of the fact, it has nothing to do with the fact that we here are reflecting and a reflection of everyone else in the world, the condition of the world itself, the solar system, the galaxy, the universe, and so forth.
Mm.
Because we are. And when this is a time, and this is where I also really started seeing and getting clear, I told her, I said, with Miracle's Ultimate Wellness Resources, it is significant right now for people to absolutely plug into what it is they need or they want in order to allow themselves to elevate and to move into a place of emotional balance. And emotional balance can happen if doing physical things, obviously emotional work, mental work, spiritual work, because it's all connected anyway. And there's an urgency for that to happen. Why? Because we are going through this portal timeline. Now, there's a lot of talk about the two Earths.
Mm-hmm.
One Earth will be on one side of the portal, and the other Earth is going to be on the other side of the portal. The one side of the portal is where we are now.
Mm.
As we move through this portal to the other side, it's a matter of having the choice and making the choice. What consciousness do you want to live by? What mindset do you want to hold? Is it that of where we are today in all the things that are happening during this transition and what that means? Or is it going through the portal and having the consciousness? I use the word mindset and consciousness alternately because some people don't understand what consciousness means, but it does
Right.
mean mindset. And so as we move into this new consciousness, which I also call the second coming of Christ for those that are Christians.
Mm.
I also call the second coming of Buddha, if for those that are, are Buddhists, the second coming of whomever it may be. This is where we are right now. And I related it to the story in Revelations where it moves into a time of peace for 1,000 years or more. And this is actually the timeline that we're on right now. And so I thought, wow, this is really an exciting time. I'm like literally living at a time where everything is transitioning, going through the portal, having the opportunity to, in a very aware, very awake, very conscious way, make the choice of where you want to be and how you choose to expand your life, yourself, your interactions socially, community wise, as far as family, as far as self. And then we started talking about, wouldn't it be fabulous if we lived in a world? Now I know now I'm getting into the I don't know what you call it. My sister uses the word woo woo a lot.
Yeah.
The
I
woo
think
woo
it's a word that people can relate to,
can
whether they are
relate to,
woo or not.
right? where wouldn't it be beautiful, all of us living in this world, each country having a resource that is so beautiful and valuable to that country, and we're able to share, trade, and do things in a way that is so harmonious. How wonderful would it be to also have that sense of harmony within yourself? Because that's what this is about.
Mm-hmm.
And doing whatever is necessary for each of us individually to do the work on ourselves, to continue to raise our own level of consciousness and awareness of who we really are, then we're in a place where we can actually connect better with everyone else, because we see what I call reality, which is that every single person is in essence the same, but we all operate from different perspectives.
Mm-hmm.
And that no perspective is better than another. There is specific purposes and specific aspects that help all of humanity to move forward. Anyway, that was our conversation this weekend. I got very excited about that because that's how I have seen everything. But as she and I were speaking, I had an opportunity to really allow myself to go into some of those other dimensional levels
Mm.
that are absolutely incredible and beautiful. And now I understand why I tell people I'll be here until I'm 125, because I choose to see and experience more of the new earth aspect on the other side.
Well, let's talk about this choose to experience and see, because as you were speaking and sharing about some of the things, specifically about moving into the new world, or having that split that a lot of us in these conversations, I'm saying these conversations for those of us who are of more of the woo woo thinking and moving, and I've shared many times that wasn't me before. I was not a person who necessarily believed it the way I believe now as a knowing. Before, it was a concept. Oh, there's this thing, could be this thing that's bigger and greater outside of myself,
Mm-hmm.
outside of what I see, hear, smell, taste with my five senses. There's more beyond that. So now, from this perspective, I've been in the same conversation in my head, not maybe out there with more community. And now it is out there, as I'm going to share with you, was what do I need to do to
Mm-hmm.
begin to ensure that I move into that world, that other side of the portal, and not
Yes.
not running away from what is current, because it is what it is. And if that's where I'm meant to be and that's where I serve my purpose, that is where I serve my purpose.
Mm-hmm.
But I've always felt, not always, for the last more than 10 years, I've felt that without knowing it, that I'm moving into this different space, and I'm here to be a conduit, or what's this, like a road sign, or something like, hey, this way, it's like, oh, new world, this way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And yet I guess my question to myself has been recently, well, who do I need to be? What do I need to do? Where do I need to grow to ensure that I am there? I am on that side, because that's the side I'd rather be on.
Yes, yes.
People want to be on this side, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with either side. It is what it is.
Exactly.
But
Mm-hmm.
that's the side I would choose. And I feel like
Mm-hmm.
that's the side that has been chosen. And now I'm like, okay, what do I need to do? Who do
Mm-hmm.
I need to be? What do I need to shift to ensure that outcome? Because I believe it is.
Yes.
It's not even me trying to force an outcome. My inside knows that that's where I'm supposed to be. And I want to ensure that I'm doing everything that I can to
Mm-hmm.
achieve that.
Mm-hmm. Well, first of all, the fact that you have the knowingness
Mm.
that that's where you want to be, then you also have the awareness that that's where you are in your consciousness. So what you're continuing to ask is, how do I continue to elevate that consciousness,
Mm.
that awareness, so that I am living in it, experiencing it in my full being. And as you were talking, one of the things that I was thinking about, and this goes for everyone, is that we all have something innately within us that we resonate with so
Mm.
strongly, and that we really, 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 really choose to have and live by. It can be peace, it can be beauty, it can be love,
Mm.
it can be joy. It can be balance. It can be the experience of one's true power, which we've spoken about before, not
Mm-hmm.
the human, you know, conception of power.
Yeah.
Uh, and so everyone has something that's significant to them and that they choose to experience. For me personally, it is joy and it's peace. And that joy and peace is experienced also through service. That's what resonates deeply within me. And in being of service, that is the expression of my form of agape unconditional love.
Mm.
You see what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
you start with, what is it that in the perfect world, how would I like to experience my life?
Mm.
How would I like to really show up and be for myself and for others? And there's no right or wrong. There's no right or wrong. So it's starting there, and then from there asking the next question, am I fully experiencing that? And if the answer is no, then you can begin looking at all of the resources out there,
Mm-hmm.
okay, for wellness, which is what we offer.
Yep.
And obviously, the planet is filled with options and opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
But it's important to look at what resources are around to help you accomplish that. Because if you're in a place of fear, if you're in a place of anger, if you're in a place of uncertainty, if you're in a place of confusion, if you're in a place of depression and all of those things, then you on some level are not experiencing what it is inside you that you truly would like to have blossom.
Mm.
And that's when you go, you know what? I need some assistance. Like I personally am reaching out to a grief counselor
Mm-hmm.
this week because I have had so many people in my family transition. And even since we last spoke, there have been two more. So in 6 weeks, there have been six people that have passed away and three in hospice. So I realized I'm just a little emotional around all of this.
Of course.
And with all the tools and techniques and everything I have, I need assistance. I need somebody who specializes in that so I can move into my place of inner peace and flow and be in my joy.
Hmm. I like that you said that part, and we've talked about it before in many
Mhm.
different in a couple of different of our conversations, which is the joy and holding space for joy, and it can be held alongside grief. It can be held alongside all of the other emotions.
Mhm.
It's
Mhm.
not. It doesn't have to be a separate from. You can be
Right.
upset or
Mhm.
frustrated about something, but still overall be in a space of joy. And
Absolutely.
I really loved what you said about that. It's like, what is that? What does it look like for you or for me or for any one of us to be in that space of joy? And if we're not in that space of joy, because again, you said, right, it's a mindset or a level of consciousness.
Well,
You can't
being in
choose
this,
to be in
it
joy at
is.
any time.
So let's think of it this way: to be in a space of joy is a state of being.
Mm,
You are being that. I will use my aunt who passed away just before Christmas as a perfect example. Even her email was Jackie with joy.
mm,
And she had tremendous joy. When she walked into the room, she was smiling, she was giggling, she would greet people and meet people in such a way that they felt welcomed and warm. She was the one who said, "Oh, you're a friend of my friend's friend? Oh, I love you too. Come on in. You're
mm.
welcome. You're part of us." That's how she was all the time, like without exception. Did
Mm,
she have her moments? Oh, yes, she did. But those moments were still, you know what? I'm going to let it go. She called it, she was very spiritual
mhm,
with the religious bent. So she would say, I'm going to give that to Jesus, or you know what, Christ, take it. I'm giving it to God. And then she would just stay in her joy. She was always joyous, even in family events where she'd have games that we'd play and they were so silly. But she would just be cracking up. She'd make herself crack up, and then we'd all crack up. But that's an example of a state of just being all the time.
and that state
And
is contagious,
yes.
right? Either
Mm-hmm.
whatever state that you're in, if it's
Yes.
if you're so grounded in it,
Mm-hmm.
it becomes contagious, whether it's joy or the opposite
Yes.
of joy.
Right.
What you're saying, it's true. Like if you walk into a space and you are grounded in that state of being of who you are, it does shift the room.
Mm-hmm. It absolutely does. And that's what she did. That's what she did. And she's the one who brought the Jewish one of the Jewish temples together with her church, because she's like, oh, New Testament, wait a minute, Jews, Christians, we need to come together. We need to work together. We need to understand each other, all of that. So she created all of those kinds of things, even down to planning her funeral,
Mm.
literally
That's
everything.
it's such a beautiful example of choice,
Yes.
right? And the power of choice. And I
Mm-hmm.
think, you know, somehow we always end up having this conversation about our own power and what we can
Yes.
and cannot control. At the end
Mm-hmm.
of the day, all of the things they accumulate into the choices that we make or we don't make, right? Those are
Right.
still choices. And so, I think one of the questions that came up, I'm actually kind of diverting us to a different question, which is the question is, when you are someone who is awakening, you're surrounded by your family, you're beginning to awaken to a different level of thinking. I think that's the way
Yes.
you can say an awakening is,
Yes.
right? Either you have something like out really loud happen or something
Mm-hmm.
whispers to you. For
Mm-hmm.
me, I think it was something loud that happened. It was the death of my father that actually initiated my
Mm-hmm.
seeking a bigger awareness of things. It started with me seeking, who am I? Because I didn't know up until then.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do when you are in that on that journey of awakening, of seeing the world in a different way? And now you're surrounded by others who saw the world the old way you saw it. You
Mm-hmm.
know, they all were like, hey, yeah, we're over here on this bandwagon. And now you're like, yeah, but I don't like this ride anymore. This ride's not for me anymore. I don't like that ride anymore. I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
check this ride out. And they're all sitting there in the background saying, no, no, but we like this one. Why are you going over there? Or they're scary. You should it's safer to be over here with what you know.
Mm-hmm.
And those people could be your spouse, your besties, your children.
Often they are.
And often they are because they want to, I understand where it comes from, and many of us do. It's like they want to keep you safe.
Mm-hmm.
So how do we traverse through this? I want to go here, and but they're over there, and you want to bring them with you, but you can't
Yes.
control the
Well, first of all, you have to bring yourself.
yeah.
That's,
Yeah, let's start there.
it's hard to bring somebody over there when you're not there yet yourself. Um, and really, it's pursuing what innately is inside of you to pursue. You ask questions, you look around, you come to our resources, you go to a community center, but whatever that
Mhm.
is, you look around and say, I'm I'm not sure what direction to go in, but when all else fails, the internet, there's something on the internet, or there's something in your community, or there's at least one person just by the sheer fact of you mentioning a couple of little things, and they go, "Oh, you may want to go over here to those
Mhm.
people and see what's happening." It is when you make that shift or decision, choice, whatever you want to call it, because you recognize there's something different, there's something more, there's something deeper for you. When you have that realization, regardless of how it comes, you know that you must act upon it. It's what I call the compulsion.
Mhm. It
You
is
can't help
absolutely.
yourself. You have to do something different. I
Mhm.
can't stay this way. And so when that happens, then you must first do your research. That's where the seeker aspect comes in.
Mhm.
And you may have to try a few things before you feel comfortable or that you're in the right space or with the right person or persons or community or whatever it is, where you are feeling not only welcomed, but in alignment with where you want to go. And sometimes it's not necessarily an intellectual exercise, but your
Mm.
heart knows.
Mm.
Your heart knows. Sometimes it is. Sometimes your mind says, yes, this is where I need to be because this is information I really want to have. And you gain and garner that information. And once you do, you're making a determination or a choice as to whether it will take you further because there's still something in here. There's still something in the heart that's saying, I need a little more, and
Mhm.
maybe that specific aspect that you just gained a lot of knowledge from is it, and maybe it's not. Either way, it's important to continue what I call your pursuit into self.
Mm. I love
And
what you said.
so as long as you continue your pursuit into self, then you will always find yourself in the right place. When I started it, it was more of it started off as a whisper, and I'm like, yeah, yeah, okay. And then it got a little louder. Okay, yeah, I hear you, but I'm doing this over here. Then
Mhm.
it got to the point where, hey, and I'm like, okay, clearly, I mean, like literally, where people were placed in front of me at my job going,
Mm.
hey, I'm like, what? And so when that started, and I found my way to the Foundation for Spiritual Freedom, where I actually started to learn again the knowledge aspect,
Mhm.
and then move from there into experiential things. Okay, shifting energy, meditation, and healings, and so forth. Um, my consciousness really started turning, and changing. Well, my family, which is rather massive,
Yeah.
because I was, raised as a Christian, but also with Jewish influence because of my grandparents. They were Jewish.
Mm.
So as I was shifting, oh, we're praying for you. we got to save you because you're in a cult.
Mm.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm answering the question and the fact that everyone, including many of my friends, thought I was crazy. I was caught up in some kind of Jim Jones, situation. And
Right.
this was before that. No, it was after. No, it was before that. And that I was going to drink some Kool-Aid or,
Mhm.
whatever. They didn't realize it then, but that's you get the reference. That's
Right.
what
Yeah.
they were thinking. It happens. But here again is your choice. Do you go, okay, you know what? I don't want to lose my friends. I want to keep peace with the family, da 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 da. And you can choose that. But you may also understand that you're going to be at a precipice where it will be choosing all of that or choosing yourself.
Oh, say
And you
that
just have to
again.
you have to determine what it is you want to choose. And I actually chose myself.
Mm.
And in choosing myself, I let the family know, hey, I really love you. I understand why you would think this.
Mm-hmm.
I know that this goes against what you believe. I know it goes against where you are at your life at this point in time. But but for me personally, I felt I didn't have a choice.
Mm.
And I told them, if for extended family and even the immediate family, I wasn't married or had kids at the time.
Okay.
But for in terms of my immediate family and my extended family, I said, you know, I have to do what I have to do, and I will be in touch with you. And I'm, not going anywhere, and I'll make sure that nothing's happening to me. And so once a month, I would be in touch with everybody and let them know, yeah, I'm great. I'd share seeds of what I
Mm.
was learning, seeds of what I was experiencing. And as a result, my brother and sister started doing exactly what I was doing. I became a vegetarian, so on and so forth. They started doing that. And they were along for the ride. They still do. They still are. The
Mm-hmm.
three of us are like, the same person when it comes to how we choose to live our lives.
Mm.
And so um, you have to make that choice, you or them. Have I been had family members and friends tell me off? Absolutely.
Mm.
And all I do is just stand again grounded in what was then and is now. As my truth expands, I was in my truth. I did not have to convert them. I did not have to convince them. It wasn't my job to do that. I can share my experiences and what worked for me and what was working for me and how I started seeing the world differently. And those were the seeds. But it was up to them if any of those seeds resonated with them. And then they started saying, hey, wait a minute, tell me more. With my siblings, it did.
I think that's important for us to kind of repeat and hone in on that. It's not our job to convince
Right.
someone else
Mm-hmm.
of our where we see our life path going.
Mm-hmm.
It's like when I used to be part of the church, because I've also grown up in a Christian upbringing, and the beginning of my shift was in the church. I needed some place to go to begin to
Yes,
understand.
yes. Me
And
too.
it's, I'm not a part of a church anymore, but at the time there was one of their sayings was you know, lead by example for, okay, I can't remember the exact motto, but it was literally, we wanted to, the motto of the church was basically live like Jesus. So be the example of Jesus. You're not, well, the pastor that was there when I was there, well, you were not meant to go out and be like, hey, you need to convert. I'm not going to go stand on the corner of the street and be like, y'all got to come to Jesus. The
Mm-hmm.
whole idea was that you live by example. And some
Mm-hmm.
people are going to resonate with it, and some people are not.
Yes,
It
that's true.
is, and that's with anything though.
Mm-hmm.
Some people are going to resonate with an atheist, and some people are not. Some
Mm-hmm.
people are going to resonate with a Buddhist, and some people are not. And
Mm-hmm.
however you are, there's always going to be someone who resonates and someone who doesn't. It's just the way the world
Exactly.
works. I think
Exactly.
what's I'm getting out of the conversation for myself and for the listeners is the first step of all of this is to be really grounded in who you are, what
Mm-hmm.
your
Yes.
beliefs are, what your connections are. And
Mm-hmm.
once you're there, grounded in the solidness of it, what other people say and think doesn't penetrate the shield of who you are,
Right. Right. Exactly.
is
It,
really what
because
I'm getting, and where I'm
yes.
like, where there is continued focus.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Because you're clear about you. And even if there's still questioning, even if you have questioning about yourself, or, I mean, we all do. Am I doing the
Mhm.
right thing? Is this where I should be? I mean, as we continue to expand and grow, we will always have that question on some level, some kind of way.
Mhm.
But you're so right about, on a whole, it's important to be grounded in who you are and what you know to be true. Now, in my case, I feel like I had maybe more advantage than some other people
Mm.
because angelic beings and light work, and the light realms were always talking to me. So
Mm.
they said, okay, you're done with this, now do this, you
Mm.
know um and I believe, honestly, everyone has that opportunity. It's a matter of breaking through the belief system and the programming that all of that stuff, even in the most religious communities, uh, is something that's either not true or make believe, or, it starts when you're little, right? Uh, and so don't, that's nonsense. Stick to, and then what we're trained to do is stay in our analytical mind
Mhm.
rather than in our heart, where the real essence of truth and love comes from, and what it needs to be nourished. And by the way, the energy from our heart is 10 times more powerful than that of our mind. But if we're being trained to analytically and intellectually see everything that way and think about life that way, we're always kind of living it out there instead of experiencing it here.
Mhm.
That's the
Mhm.
difference.
That is, and it's so important. And one of the things I wanted to say is, for those of our listeners who are, on that, in the space of analysis, um, is that a lot of what we're talking about, believe it or not, is there's science behind it. There's science behind what happens inside of a mind shift, what your beliefs are, how grounded you are in yourself, mind, body, spirit, soul. There is interconnectedness, and there's more and more and more research being done as we round back to the beginning of our conversation, and this precipice of a split and the portals that we're
Mm-hmm.
moving into. It's not surprising that there's more and more research confirming what
Yes.
I would say the ancients have known since the beginning of humanity. I'm not going to say the
Mm-hmm.
beginning of time, but since the beginning of humanity, since we've existed, there
Mm-hmm.
there there's confirmation.
Yes.
Confirmation of going, I'm going to say this because this is how I feel, going back to who we were meant to be
Mm-hmm.
before our logic set in, before logic set in. Before, there's so many factors. I'm just going to put it out there and leave it there before, politics and economics and humanness came in.
Mm-hmm.
To going back to what you said, where you talked about Mother Gaia and being of the earth, not distinct from the earth. But
Mm-hmm.
if you look back, even if you're not religious, you're scientific, and look at evolution and how we were created of the earth.
Mm-hmm.
The cells, all of it was created of the earth. And then we have evolved the way we have evolved. But it was because of, through that survival mechanism, right? That
Yes.
that little cell wanted to survive, so it did what it
Yes.
did in order to survive. And the things that we do now for survival, a lot of it are human mechanisms that have been put into place that are not necessary for
That's
survival.
that's very true. And I'm so glad you said that, because what I was going to say, you we read each other's minds, folks, just so you know.
We are
Because I was
connected.
going to bring it up too. When it comes to, as I was speaking about, as you say, the planetary systems and so forth, um, and even in our own creation, in many ways, spirituality and science go hand in hand,
Mm-hmm.
and they really do work together. I'm not going to say they're exactly one and the same, but real close.
And if
The
only.
human, the human condition is what introduced the emotional aspects.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you think about, when it comes to science and truly a spirit, and the whole concept of spirituality, there's no emotion there. It's neutral. It does what it does.
Mm.
But we add the feeling we feel in these physical bodies,
Mm-hmm.
which solicits an emotion of love or non-love,
Mm-hmm.
whatever your definition of either is. And so what we need to understand is that when we think about things from a religious standpoint, a moral standpoint, what we consider to be a human standpoint, that's all illusion. That is illusion. That's where we're in the matrix construct. For those of you that may have seen the Matrix, that is the matrix construct.
Mm-hmm.
So we, as perfect, beautiful, divine, spiritual beings, just the essence of us, combined with the essence of our planetary system that is made manifest with the same energy as us,
Mm-hmm.
we of it, right? Is what exists. That's real. That's what it is. I'm not saying all the planets in and of themselves are real. That I won't go deeper than that. Just so y'all, I'm trying not to confuse you, but anything that deals with matter is not necessarily specifically real. It's still part of a matrix construct in the way that it's formed and shaped and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
But what we're talking about is going beyond that to the real essence of spirit and consciousness itself. And so in that, um, we have created all of these wonderful ways of being able to live with one another, to create harmony, to create being able to recognize each other. Hey, I see you,
Mm.
to be able to do that. However, things in our, as we feel, and we choose whatever direction we're going in with those emotions, go pew 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 pew. Oh no, we're nothing alike. No, and this is why we're not, and this is why I'm gonna do this and you do that, and that, that's where we get into all of that kind of stuff.
Well, I mean, let's just say, as we round up our conversation, I'm going to say one thing and then I'm going to ask you one thing. I'm going
Mhm.
to say, as a reminder to everyone, we are all human beings. There is one human race. I think we all, we'd say it's an issue of race. No, no, we're all one human race.
Yes,
Let's talk
yes.
about the science. We're one human race
Hmm.
with different perspectives, We look different depending on scientifically where we were born and how we have evolved. Okay. But
Mm-hmm.
we're all one human race,
Mm-hmm.
right? We're the same species. We're not
Mm-hmm.
different species. We're all the same.
We're
At
the
the end of the
same
day,
species, right?
at the end of the day, however it shows up in how we're being, we all want to be loved, we all want to
Mm-hmm.
be seen, we all want to
Mm-hmm.
be heard.
Mm-hmm.
That's We all want the same thing. We're just going
Absolutely.
about it differently.
Mm-hmm.
However it works for us. I mean, you may say, "Oh, what you're doing is not working for me and it's bad." Or you may say, "Hey, what you're doing is cool and I think that would work for me." That's good, but it's a perception.
It's
Like
a
you said,
perception.
it's a perception, it's the matrix.
And
So,
we can make a choice.
and
If
that's
it, if
what
it
I
works for
want
us, it
to,
does. If it doesn't, it doesn't. You know, it's
yeah,
just.
of course. And I want to have people kind of just sit with that and remember we're all one species.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter how we look. If you were
Mm-hmm.
to take my skin sack, like the skin off, and you take your skin off, when we're just sitting here with no skin, you would have no idea. You would just see muscles and tendons, and you'd have no idea. Right? If
I'm
we took
laughing
it all off,
because
we look like that guy in the science center with just the skin and the muscles and the tendons and all of that.
yes, it's true.
A little bit creepy if you ask me, but I mean, that's yes, it's a soapbox thing that I'm saying, but it's the truth. The truth
It
is,
is true.
scientifically, go look. Um, but what I wanted to ask is, we want to leave our listeners with the next thing that they can do based on the conversations that
Mhm.
that we walked through today. What are some tips or a tip that we can leave them with that can help them traverse this journey?
Honestly, partially what I said earlier. Ask yourself how, what I'm experiencing within me. What is most important to me? That's number one. Number two is how do you choose to express that or to begin doing that? Are you a person who does a lot of reading? If so, and if that's what you're comfortable with, start reading some things.
Mm,
If you're a person who needs movement, and you have to experience a sense of freedom within the body, you look into movement
mm-hmm,
classes, sessions. There are a multitude of them. If you are someone who is into beauty and you resonate with things that are beautiful, what is it about beauty that works for you? Is it artwork? Is it theater? Is it cooking? What is that? And
mm,
immerse yourself in that, because that's what will solicit the feeling and the real sense of beauty.
mm,
Okay. So it's being able to first, connect with what do I choose to, what state of presence and being do I choose for myself?
mm,
What is it that I resonate with and that I really love doing? Being with nature and hiking, again, beauty in all the different ways, movement, reading, whatever it is, asking yourself that question and then begin that to experience that in that process. And as you do that, you will naturally expand into what's next.
mm,
What am I to do next? What do I want to know next? And it can start. I just mentioned about not getting into the analytical and the intellect. But if that's where you come from, then use that to gain what you need in terms of knowledge. Because I'm definitely a very analytical and intellectual person. That was part of the journey. So do that. Don't resist it or move away from it, but allow yourself to do what you know is right for you in that moment. And then from there, you will notice, or maybe even sometimes not notice, that there's a shift. And where, as you said so well earlier, Nina, you didn't think you'd be into this. Someone says, hey, would you like to come with me and experience yoga, experience a channeling, experience? Oh, gee, I would have never thought about that. Sure. Let me see what that's about. It's a natural progression. So anyway, hopefully that answers your questions.
I think it does. So for those of you, take this on, even if you are mid-journey, maybe ask yourself that question regularly. Is what I am doing, where I am in this place, is it what I want? Is it who I want to be? Am I where I want to be? And, think of it from that space of, continually to be grounded in who you are. And I loved the conversation that we had today. I love the winding road that we always go on.
Yes.
just so y'all know, if we haven't said it before, we don't plan out months of conversations.
No.
This is something that is just comes up in this. It's just the way we speak. To be honest, this is the way we speak. This is the kind of conversations I have with my girlfriends. It's a round table conversation. And so thank you so much for coming in and joining in with us in our conversation. We would love for you to tell us what you'd like to hear about. Do you have any questions you want answered, things you want to see discussed on the podcast? Put it in the comments. Send us an email. You can always email us at concierge@miraclesdirectory.com. We will get those questions. We will answer them. And hey, check out our website, by the way, www, or is that 4 W's? Anyways, www.miraclesdirectory.com. We have a plethora of resources. We have ways that you can join our community. We have communities for healers, communities for seekers. We have all kinds of wonderful things there for you as you are either at the beginning of the journey or in the middle of the journey or wherever you are. We're here to support you. And for those of you who are healers, we want to help you grow and expand your business, who you are out there in the world. We'd love to have you come on and join our conversation. So if you want to come on and join our conversation, if you say, hey, I have something to say about that, come on and
join us.
Share your do that.
Share your experiences, your knowledge, your information, and what you do to be of service to the world community.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be me and Len. It can be me and Len and a whole bunch of other people. So come on in, join us. If you liked what you heard, please subscribe, share this information, write your comments. We want to hear from you. Until next time, bye for now.
Bye-bye for now.
Thank you for joining us today on Healers Talk Healing. We hope you've been inspired and empowered on your holistic healing journey. If you've enjoyed today's episode and want to continue learning and growing with us, don't forget to subscribe, follow, rate, and review our podcast. Your feedback and support mean the world to us. Remember, healing is a lifelong journey, and you have the power to transform your life in profound ways. Stay curious, keep exploring, and never stop believing in your own capacity for healing.